Namaste, gods, goddesses, and emissaries of light. This is Dr. Shreya Tajen, also known as Empress 1111. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Divine masculines. Oh my God. Oh, the energy that is out here is off the chain. And you are adjusting to your new light bodies. You are getting acclimated by pushing your Merkabas out and experiencing this thing called life. But you're experiencing it now from a vantage point of spirituality. You are moving away from the earthly planes of existence and the lower realms of existence and now operating in the higher realms, and you are channeling in your higher selves and connecting to your higher selves, and you're making better decisions along the way. So good job. Before I get into this reading any further, without further ado, let me go ahead and call in some help. For those of you that know me, know that I do call upon the elements and spirit. So let's go ahead and do it. I call upon air, fire, water, earth, spirit, and ether. I also call upon the highest of the highest of the highest, which is Yadahe, to be able to give me the information that is necessary in this now moment in time with these open portals for the new earth, to be able to pull unto you what you need in your ascension process and your growth and your unfoldment and development of your souls, myself included. And so it is, everyone. There is some heavy shit going on. I have no other way of saying it seriously. Divine masculines, you and the divine feminine, bless your hearts. You both have been going through it. You especially, because you remind me of Jonah in the Bible, where God had sent him to Nineveh, but you went the other way. You went to go explore greener pastures. That's not really what Jonah did. Jonah was scared. And I'm sensing for some of you divine masculines that you have allowed fear to encroach your way of thinking. And so you've made poor choices because of that. But crowning your reading, divine masculines, you have the death card. The divine masculine collectives are now experiencing this deep open portal of energy that is coming in from this new portal that is now open. And he is no longer looking for rainbows or roses or unicorns when it comes to this relationship with his divine counterpart. He's now coming from this place that he understands, understands, and overstands that the fruit must be ripe before eaten. What the death card symbolizes here, which is crowning the reading, is the death of the lower planes and the lower cravings and the lower cardinal desires. The death card depicts in a very real sense that we are living in the cycles of death and rebirth all the time. And what the DM is experiencing at this moment is something that is natural to all of us. Every night we sleep, we experience many deaths. And this mini death is the dissolution of awareness of the physical body, which makes way for the mental dream body, which then dissolves to enter into deep sleep. Silence occurs and our emptiness of our awareness around us happens, and then death is indicated. That a sudden and unexpected change is imminent at this moment. This is a phase that is ending and the divine masculine's life. And at this moment, this ending in your life, you should trust the process and let it cycle out this time, okay? Don't rush back into any situations, because when we do that, we're not allowing for it to cycle through. And we often get repetition and repeats of lessons that were dealt before that has to come back around. And who wants that? We want to learn from our mistakes the first time, don't we? We don't want to keep on getting intertwined into this web that we oftentimes can weave for ourselves. Okay? Death is the master cleanser. If the divine masculine surrenders to the process of the dissolution, the letting go of the karmic situations and those around, and the ways of being that he has outgrown, allowing it to unfold naturally, there will be much growth and new life that he will experience. He can use this death as a catalyst to awaken the life that was once between him and his divine feminine. The divine masculine is reminiscing on old conversations between him and the divine feminine. He no longer is at this place where he's looking at moving on to her as a risk like he did in the past. Instead, he's being transformed by the new earth energies and realizes that the darkness is needed just as much as the light. Now, moving on to the next card. This card is sticking to me. The Nine of Wands. With the Nine of Wands, this is showing me that he's no longer resisting, but instead he's been transformed by the new earth energies and realized that darkness is needed just as much as the light to come in. And it's representing that no army can equal the destructible force and power of the human shadow side, which I sense that he has worked from the shadow side, is working from the shadow side, but it's in a good sense. It was kind of like in a bane sense, in a destructive force when he used it before. And now he knows that he has caused much collateral damage when it comes to his relationship with the divine feminine, and that he can no longer stake claim to her fame. So any titles that he once held, he now has to prove himself worthy of their keep. If he was her husband, he has to earn to be called husband again. If he was her boyfriend, he has to be in the position to where he plays the role of a boyfriend. If he was her benefactor or helped her to run a business as a business partner, that he has to earn these accolades again, that he doesn't have any entitlement here. And he knows this. And so, as he recognizes that he is spirit manifested in the flesh, and that there is a driving force that is bigger than him, that is coaxing and grooming him from this great catastrophe, okay, into this great feast of their grand reunion. You see. All right. With the Four Wands in the reverse, it represents the winds of change here. Okay. In time past, there was a disconnect from the head to heart, giving rise to conflicts that may have occurred in the past between him and his divine feminine. He recognizes that the foundation was shaky and that he, whole in part, had a lot to do with it, and that He now recognizes what it takes to build the pillar of the relationship stronger than ever. Okay? He is no longer denying, but affirming the connection between her body, her sacred vessel, which is known as the Vesica Pisces, which relates to her sexual organ, and through her life, which is her soul. With the final spiritual pillar being built through knowledge, discipline, commitment to consciously be a willing participant in this sacred journey, the divine masculine is now stepping up to the plate. And these four pillars represents a unification of the beingness of love. He now recognizes that it is about communication on a deeper level, not just necessarily the verbal, but the nonverbal too, which brings true commitment and togetherness within the union. And if you notice in the background behind them, we see a tall building with a golden flower of life geometry rising up the middle, denoting the power of creation and the rich interconnectedness of life. The imposing architectural structure that we see they are walking from, it tells us this relationship is backed by the power of something that is establishing it, and that is the divine. We are witnessing a marriage or a ceremony of union in this card. I know that you see it in reverse, so let me turn it around for you so you can see, okay? You see that? The two of them are holding hands. And as you can see, there's a bun in her oven. She's pregnant. But notice their faces. As you can see, they're going through this transformation together. And the divine is overseeing the union. This is what is happening. This is what is coming in for all of us that are on this twin flame journey. Okay? The divine is back in this. This is their matrimony. But the reason why it's in reverse is because it's already taken place. What is done is in heaven. What is done in heaven is now done upon the earth. And so, with this card being reversed, it symbolizes that this has already taken shape. This has already came into fruition in their lives. And that their relationship has been witnessed. Okay? This also represents the cosmic marriage. This card is about striking a healthy balance between the spiritual and the physical realms of existence. How we can use the pillars to inspire us. The possibility of achieving this balance is steady working at it and sharing this experience with the ones that we love, especially the one that is the other half of our souls. Whew. The divine masculine. He's coming from this place of venture and wonder. He was there so he can gather from this journey wisdom. Just by virtue of being born, we are thrust into a vast, paradoxical, beautiful, and infinitely complex world. The important takeaway is, from time to time, we need to take ourselves off to unfamiliar parts and be challenged. We must leave behind our comforts and routines to connect with the wild nature. And conversely, we also need to allow ourselves to be transformed by the beauty of life that is converging to tell us to take care of the things that are of most important to us. And we see this being represented by the Eight of Cups, which represents wisdom and guidance to be gained wherever you are. Creating sacred space to sit in a habitual rhythm of life so you have a harmonic resonance and to be happy as things start to manifest and fall into place. Now you also have the High Priestess card. But the card is in reverse. Well, I'm pulling from this energy that the divine feminine is represented by this to the divine masculine. The high priestess, when you look at this, she has a language, and her language is sometimes abstract and often vague, with many symbolic and metaphoric references requiring patience to decode. She signals the need to journey within, paying attention to your dreams and visions and sensing their relevance as wide knowledge in a super necessity of symbols and events that appear in your physical world. This is also coupled with esoteric knowledge. Listen to the powerful stirrings of your intuition, divine masculine. Your gut, your feelings, all of that, you already possess the most powerful guidance system in the entire universe. And that is your intuition. And to me, I listen. And as you're there and you're centered, the high priestess invites you to be still, to meditate, to explore the mystery of life while witnessing the mind becoming more aware of your feeling nature. As you listen, you become more receptive to the principle that she perfectly balances the masculine desire to shape and master the physical world by calling us to reflect deeply on that which actually stirs our hearts. The high priestess is very sensual with a whole body intelligence. This will combine our strengths. This will combine our talents and emerge a power. When you combine this strength with the magician, you can release the most intense and immense power, knowledge, and goodness into the world. This is what the twin flame journey is all about. Your old way of life, your old way of being and believing and reacting to the world is now being transformed into a new form, and its expression now can germinate. The fact that you have this card in reverse, divine masculines, you are being asked to cast seeds of doubt and mistrust into your thoughts and deeds aside. You're in a state right now of conformity and stuck energy that has a large, deep part into your cellular structure. It is it's trying to infect your DNA coding, and it is time for you to grow and make room for the new and to allow the old to die. As I stated in the outset, that the fruit must be ripe before it can be eaten. So, don't let the past control and dictate what you know. Instead, discover fresh ways of exploring your life and your divine feminine. And do not let addictive habits surface and breed from the past to crowd out your potential in the now. You are returning from an odyssey. This returning may have much treachery that you have dealt with along the way in your home life or for those that are around you, okay? And to leave one's home and venture off may not be welcoming and warm, embracing, no matter how noble the cause may be. But just know that life is left to the renderings of faith, and fate is on your side. But have no fear, fate is going to be what is going to break up some of the mess that has been entering and surrounding you. This is affirming that the now time is here, and in this now time, it's time to be honest, accountable, compassionate, and ultimately very decisive as you fine-tune a pathway back to your beloved. You have not by far gotten what you truly desired, and that is your recognition. Victory is ahead of you, and that is what is symbolized by the Six of Wands. So now, Divine Masculine, the Hangman. If you look at this card, the Hangman is before you. Now, this is after you have been on a long journey, okay? You run into this Hangman. And the Hangman actually is a card that comes after the Justice card. And it basically is here to let you know that you've been hanging in the balance. It's like you've been in this energy where you have been prevented from moving ahead, okay? But it's like when you do take one step forward, you're met with two steps backwards, and it has been frustrating you. And at this moment in your life, the universe stepped in, okay? The universe has a habit of intervening and showing us where we are out of balance in order to put us back in balance so we can be back on the path in which we need to be on in the first place, in order to wake us up and to bring us back to our senses, so to speak, to drive, to survive, to push our limits, to succeed no matter what, come what may. You've been trying to control a very difficult life, pushing against the grain of life, pushing against the current, so to speak, okay? And very often, when we do things like that, it results in life pushing back at us. You're now in this moment of being, and you're coming out of being stuck. You're taking stock of your life right now, and you're putting up some type of resistance still to what the divine is picturing and paving for you in your union. Your life has been suspended for some time now in efforts to change the current circumstances of your life of repetition and repeated failures. You are missing the opportunities to go within and listen to your inner voice, which is now being drowned out by all of the drama that is around you. Okay. You had this Tara moment. This Tara moment had to happen in order for you to get to this place so you can come out of that stagnation that you once was in. And so you, from this moment, can break free from that stagnation. Just tune in to what you need to listen to, which is your inner voice. And it's time for you to renew your trust in even yourself and surrender to the unknown. The divine masculine energy right now is of declaring his actions, and that this is a time for you to make that declaration. Okay, you get that with the Ace of Wands in reverse. Rather you create the conditions and the environment or not, you are at this point where this is not a wish fulfillment card for you. This is a declaration card. You declare who you are. You declare what you do. You declare what you want to create. And something is brought into existence through this. The instant that you declare it, it shall be so. And in time past, the divine masculine, he realized that the arrogance, the lack of empathy for his divine feminine, and now it's like he's wanting to set the matter straight. And for some of you divine feminines, the divine masculine left you struggling financially and romantically. He just abandoned you, left you entirely to figure things out, while he went on this hedonistic journey and pleasures of life, desiring pleasure first and avoidance of all pain, not really paying attention to the consequences of his actions, nor did he care about the ramifications of what the consequences were. but he's coming out of this, okay? Which is why we see that he had this terror moment. It had to happen. Okay. He had to be shaken in order to be awakened to his senses. And now he's in the energy of wanting to create something new. He realizes that he is basically tucking away his feelings and his emotions, and he is not being forthright about what he really wants and how he really feels. And for some of the divine masculines, they have bitten off more in their life than what they can actually chew, which is represented by the Three of Swords here. Okay. Some of them are still tied to their karmic partners, and some of them are experiencing um, some very crazy energies that are coming from this. Okay, there's been many delays that have been around you being able to come back into union with your divine feminine because of these current energies that are here. I'm also sensing that with the Ten of Wands that there's been a lot of oppression. There's been a lot of depression, and there's been even illness. I'm also picking up for some of you divine masculines that some of you have even experienced infertility, but this is divine ordering that was at play here. Has nothing to do with the fact of whether you can co-create or not, or if you can make kids. Of course you can, but the divine is protecting your lineage. This is spiritual here. This is about royal DNA. This is about your spiritual lineage. And so this is the reason why you have not been able to co-create with your karmic, because it's not meant for you to, you see. Through the purification of the sperm process, which many of you are going through, and that is abstaining from sex, by the way, it's not only the divine feminines that are remaining abstinent, but it's also the divine masculines too, because they're now recognizing that all of this happened for a reason. The infertility, the arguments, the dramas, all of that had to play out in order for him to come back to his senses and get ready for this beautiful grand reunion, which is now what the divine masculine is contemplating and also preparing for. All right. And so with the last card being laid down, I just pulled a bonus card for you. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and just for now, you know what? No, look, we'll go ahead and go to the extended reading for that. I'm getting too happy. But he's realizing that all those cups that were given to him, they were all false. You see him, he's celebrating the fact that now he can turn his back on that. He doesn't have to worry about the facades. He doesn't have to worry about the lies, the games, the manipulation that the karmics played. And it's not just the third party karmics, it's his friends and his family, because they were jealous of him. They didn't want to see him with the divine feminine because they know that that was his source of happiness. And so here it is. He's stepping into his own power and he's like, fuck yeah. Excuse my language, but I'm telling you, he is like game fucking on. He has turned his back to the BS and the bureaucracies and all of the things that they have put on him to limit him and to box him. And so now he's free at last, and he is moving towards his divine counterpart. And I have come to the conclusion of your reading, divine masculines. Beautiful. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad that you're finally at this headspace where you're really, truly valuing the connection that you have with your divine feminines. And you're in a place now where you realize that she is the other half of your soul and you're treating her with the utmost respect. And in time past, you did not do that. And so now in this place where you are rising as the divine masculine. So keep rising. All right. It is a good karma to like, share, comment, subscribe, leave a love donation if you feel inclined to, or you can purchase a gift from my Amazon wish list. It will show up on the channel for all to benefit. I now wrap you in my love and I cloak you with the light of Christ consciousness. And so it is, everyone. Namaste.